Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Boxiest, and today we're going to continue the What If series. What if events had gone differently? And in this What If, we're going to change the history of Cobra Kai. What if Miguel quit karate during the events of Cobra Kai Season 6? So in this timeline, Tori's mom will still pass away. Johnny and Daniel will still want Miguel and Robbie to compete for captain, so Miguel and Robbie will still fight. Robbie will still be balanced in this timeline, and he will still defeat Miguel, so Robbie will still be the boys' captain, and Miguel will still be disappointed. Sam and Tori will still fight, and Tori will still be fighting with anger. Amanda and Daniel will still stop the fight, and much like in the original timeline, Tori would still quit Miyagi-Do, and she would still leave. And in this timeline, Miguel wouldn't want to continue with karate, so Miguel would tell the Miyagi-Dos that he wasn't going to be there for the Seikai Taikai. The Miyagi-Dos would be confused, but Miguel would say that he needs some time off to work on himself. So in this timeline, Sam would be the girls' Miyagi-Do captain, and Hawk and Kenny would take Tori and Miguel's place. Season 6 would continue. Miyagi-Do would still make it to the Seikai Taikai, and they would be surprised to see Chris and Cobra Kai there, and they would be heartbroken to see Tori and Cobra Kai. The Seikai Taikai would continue. Robbie would still want to talk to Tori, but Tori still wouldn't want to talk to the Miyagi-Dos. Kwon would still be challenging the other dojos to a kicking competition, and Robbie would still accept Kwon's challenge, so those events would stay the same. Eventually the Captain's War Challenge would begin. Miyagi-Do would be on defense, and they will still be doing Protect the Egg, but Tori and Kwon will still want to go after the Miyagi-Dos. Kwon will still go after Robbie, and Robbie and Kwon will still fight. Devin and Dimitri will still go down. Robbie will still be distracted by Tori, so Kwon will still take Robbie down, and Miyagi-Do would be out, so only the Cobra Kais and the Iron Dragons would remain. The rest of the Iron Dragons will still walk off, and Zara and Axel will be left to fight the Cobra Kais. Zara and Axel will still take down Kwon and Tori, so the Iron Dragons would win. The Seikai Taikai would continue. Miyagi-Do would still have to knock the other dojo off the platform, but Miyagi-Do wouldn't do so well. Johnny would still be disappointed in his students, but the Miyagi-Do students wouldn't want to listen to Johnny. Miyagi-Do would still have to fight out Dublin Thunder. Robbie and Sam would still start off, but they would be distracted by Tori and Miguel, so Robbie and Sam would both be knocked off. Kenny and Devin would go on the platform, and they would fight their opponents, but Devin would still sacrifice herself to save Kenny, so Dimitri would join Kenny on the platform. Eventually Dimitri would be knocked off, so Hawk would go on the platform, and in this timeline, Hawk and Kenny would finish the fight, so Miyagi-Do would win. And much like in the original timeline, Carmen would still be rushed to the hospital, so Johnny would go back to the US alone. The Miyagi-Do students would still go explore Barcelona, and they would still be at the tapas bar, and Sam and Robbie would be worried about Carmen. This is when the Cobra Kais would show up, and Sam would still go outside to get some air. Kwon would still want to mess with Robbie, so Kwon and Robbie would start to have a rivalry. Zara would notice the connection between Tori and Robbie, and she would still want to mess with Tori, so those events would stay the same. Sam would still be walking down the beach, and she would still run into Axel. She would still compliment Axel on his kata, and the interaction between Sam and Axel would stay the same. Eventually, Johnny would come back to Barcelona. Miyagi-Do would still fight Furia de Pantera, and the fight would stay the same. Dimitri and Hawk would still be arguing, and they would still land a point on Dimitri. Sam and Maria would continue to fight, and much like in the original timeline, Sam would land a point on Maria. The fight would continue. Hawk would continue the fight, and in this timeline, Hawk would tag in Kenny. Kenny would fight, and he would manage to land a point, and he would tag in Robbie. And in this timeline, Miyagi-Do would beat Furia de Pantera, and during the next team match, Miyagi-Do would fight Redentores. Robbie would start off. He would use a combination of offense and defense, and Robbie would land the first point. Robbie would tag in Kenny, and much like in the original timeline, Kenny would get 2 points, and they would still advance in their matches, so Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai wouldn't face off. The Seikai Taikai would continue. Cobra Kai would still fight Tiger Strike, and that fight would stay the same. Cobra Kai would fight Furia de Pantera. The match would be close, but Cobra Kai would end up winning, so both Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do would make it to the semifinals. The Seikai Taikai would continue. Tiger Strike would still be eliminated for cheating during the tournament, so Furia de Pantera would take their place. The semifinals would begin. Kwon and Diego would still fight, but Kwon would still defeat him. Zara and Maria would fight, but Zara would still defeat Maria. Axel would still fight Robbie in the semifinals, and that fight would stay the same. Axel would still knock Robbie back, and Kwon would still hit Robbie. Gunther would see that the Seikai Taikai was getting out of hand, and he would want everyone off the mats, but this is when Sensei Ivanov would knock Gunther out, and the brawl would still happen, and the season was still in the same way. Quan was to want to stab Axel, but Axel would sweep Quan's leg, and Quan was to land on the knife, so Quan was to be stabbed in this timeline, and everyone would be shocked. And that is where I'm gonna end this what if. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think would have happened if Miguel quit karate during the events of Cobra Kai Season 6? Let me know in the comments below. YouTube lets me know that the majority of you are not subscribed, so if you guys could subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And I'll see you guys next time.